I just didn't want to be alive anymore. And that was a very clear and real and frightening, constant thought.
At 44, Meghan Markle finally confirms what we all suspected. Have you ever noticed how some stories in life never really end? They just pause until someone decides to drop a truth bomb at the least expected moment? That's Meghan Markle for you. For years, her name has been splashed across headlines like glitter at a toddler's birthday party. Everywhere, impossible to avoid, sometimes dazzling, sometimes downright messy. And now, at 44, Meghan has finally confirmed what so many whispers, rumors, and anonymous royal insiders suggested all along.
The irony of the last 4 years is I've advocated for so long for women to use their voice, and then I was silent.
Were you silent or were you silenced?
The latter.
But what exactly did she say? And more importantly, why now? This is not just about royal drama. Though there's plenty of that, and let's be honest, who doesn't love a little palace intrigue over their morning coffee? This is about a woman who, love her or hate her, has managed to capture the world's attention like very few ever could. Meghan Markle isn't just a duchess, a former actress, or Prince Harry's other half. She has become a cultural Rorschach test. Everyone sees something different in her. Hero, villain, disruptor, survivor. And at 44, she finally opened up in a way that makes you wonder if all those years of speculation were leading to this exact moment.
Of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Now, before we unravel the confession itself, let's take a step back. Picture Meghan in her early days. The actress on Suits, dazzling in sharp pencil skirts and courtroom banter. Who would have thought back then that this woman would one day be sipping tea, or refusing to, depending on the gossip, with Queen Elizabeth herself? Fast forward to the royal wedding of 2018. An event watched by nearly 2 billion people. The world gasped at the elegance.
Made me cry, and it really hurt my feelings. And I thought in the context of everything else that was going on in those days leading to the wedding, that it didn't make sense to not be just doing what everyone else was doing, which was trying to be supportive, knowing what was going on with my dad and whatnot.
The pageantry, the sheer fairy tale of it all. But like all fairy tales, reality has a way of slipping in through the cracks. Because behind the tiaras and stiff palace walls, Meghan was living in a pressure cooker of expectations, traditions, and centuries-old rules about how one smiles, waves, or even breathes in public. And when cracks turned into chasms, she and Harry did the unthinkable. They stepped back. Or, as some say, they stepped out. What followed was a whirlwind of Netflix deals, interviews, memoirs, podcasts, and headlines that refused to die down.
It was a really hard week of the wedding, and she was upset about something, but she owned it, and she apologized, and she brought me flowers and a note apologizing. What was hard to get over was being blamed for something that not only I didn't do, but that happened to me, and the people who were part of our wedding going to our comms team and saying, I know this didn't happen.
But even through all that noise, there was one lingering question. Was Meghan ever fully honest about what went down inside the palace? Or was she playing the game better than anyone else? Now, at 44, she's finally spoken the words that many suspected but no one expected her to admit. The moment feels almost cinematic. The kind of scene where the camera zooms in, the music softens, and the character finally reveals the secret that changes the whole.
It's really important for people to understand the truth. I would hope that she would have wanted that corrected, and maybe in the same way that the palace wouldn't let anybody else negate it, they wouldn't let her, because she's a good person. And I think so much of what I have seen play out is this idea of polarity, where if you love me, you don't have to hate her. And if you love her, you don't need to hate me.
The way she chose to shape her future. You know those times when you look back at your younger self and think, wow, I really thought I had it all figured out? Meghan's admission felt exactly like that, raw, reflective, and just the right amount of self-aware. She confessed that much of what the public saw, the interviews, the carefully crafted narratives, the dramatic moments, were not entirely spontaneous. Yes, she admitted, some of it was scripted, rehearsed, polished for
What was hard to get over was being blamed for something that not only I didn't do, but that happened to me.
In other words, the image we were fed wasn't always the unfiltered truth. Now, here's the twist. Isn't that what all of us do? Think about it. When you post on Instagram, do you share the blurry selfie with spinach in your teeth? Or do you upload the one where the lighting makes you look like a minor Greek deity? Meghan's confession is really just the royal-sized version of our own everyday performances. The only difference is that her stage wasn't a dinner party. It was an Oprah interview watched by millions. But here's where it gets interesting. Why admit this now? Why at 44? Why after years of defending, deflecting, and redefining her story? Perhaps it's because time has a funny way of shifting our priorities. In your 30s, you're proving yourself. By your 40s, you're done pretending. Meghan's revelation feels less like a scandal and more like a sigh of relief. Like she's finally dropped the heavy purse she's been carrying around at every royal dinner. And let's not forget the ripple effect. Her admission raises bigger questions about celebrity culture, truth in media, and the power of storytelling itself. How much of what we consume is authentic, and how much is just performance dressed up as reality? Meghan has turned the mirror back on us, forcing us to confront how easily we buy into narratives, royal or otherwise. The public's reaction, of course, has been divided. Some feel vindicated. See, I knew it. Others feel betrayed. So, it was all for sympathy? And then there are those who shrug and say, well, isn't that what everyone does? But no matter where you fall on the spectrum, you can't deny this. Meghan has once again made herself impossible to ignore. And that's where the brilliance lies. Whether by accident or design, her timing ensures that she remains a central figure in cultural conversations. Love her or loathe her, Meghan Markle knows how to keep the world talking. At 44, she's no longer just a royal outsider. She's a master storyteller, aware of the stage she's on and unafraid to admit she's been holding the script all along. So what can we take from this? For one, maybe it's a reminder to question the stories we consume, whether they're from a duchess, a politician, or your overly filtered friend on Facebook. Maybe it's also a reminder that admitting you weren't 100% authentic doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And in Meghan's case, it makes her, once again, unforgettable. At the end of the day, her confession isn't just about her. It's about us. About the way we build up people, expect perfection, and then act shocked when they reveal their flaws. Meghan Markle's admission at 44 isn't a downfall. It's a declaration. A way of saying, yes, I played the game, yes, I tried to survive, and yes, I'm finally ready to own it. And maybe that's why it resonates so deeply. Because whether you're a duchess or just someone trying to figure out your place in the world, we've all worn masks. We've all polished our stories. And maybe, just maybe, at some point we all have to admit what Meghan just did. The truth was never quite as simple as it seemed. Some moments in pop culture hit harder than others. They don't just create headlines. They etch themselves into memory, sparking debates at dinner tables, filling talk shows with endless chatter, and fueling endless comment sections online. Meghan Markle has delivered one of those moments, again. But this time, at 44, she has confirmed something that many suspected, whispered about, or hinted at in snarky op-eds, yet never fully believed she would admit herself. The irony? The confession feels both shocking and strangely unsurprising at the same time. Almost like when a magician finally reveals how a trick is done. You gasp, then you laugh, realizing you always knew it wasn't magic at all. And yet, here we are, captivated once more by a woman who has made an art form out of being both loved and loathed, admired and criticized, celebrated and ridiculed. But why does Meghan still hold this much power over public imagination? Why are people still leaning in every time she speaks, even those who claim to be tired of her? The answer is simple. Meghan Markle has always known how to tell a story. And her latest revelation proves she not only understands the story being told about